Hello, everyone, and welcome again to Dream Career Talk Show. Here on this show, we are going to have industry experts coming from various domains who will be sharing their knowledge, their expertise, their experiences, their challenges, failures, and success so that it can help others. This show is going to help corporate professionals expand their context, get clarity, direction, hope, inspiration, and of course, the right steps to build their dream career and dream life. Dressing well not only increases your self confidence, but it also helps in attracting other people and creating a good impression. Proper grooming and good professional appearance helps you to gain respect in the workplace. The way you look and your confidence plays an important role in your career growth. You can crack interviews, demand more salary, attract high paying jobs, and win people. Now, our guest for today has been somebody who is coming from being shy to becoming confident and winning in career and life. He has worked in the grooming industry for over 12 years with top brands like Philips and Havells India, achieving phenomenal success. Vishal Manocha is the founder of Vishal School of Grooming. He is the grooming coach, interview consultant, and mentor. He has also authored the book Groom to the Next Version of You. Vishal is on a mission of transforming 1 million lives by grooming them to their next best version. Vishal, very glad to have you on Dream Career Talk Show. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Fatah, for a great introduction. My pleasure to be there on your talk show.
Superb. So, grooming, you are known for grooming. You have already started helping a lot of people on the grooming, and you have already achieved some great results in terms of helping people to build their confidence and to achieve success in their careers and life. So, before we get into how you help people, let's understand more about Vishal Manocha. Like, how did you get into grooming? Were you always a confident person? Were you always like dressed so sharp like you are dressed today? Or was it a different Vishal who started earlier?
Yeah, in fact, Fatah, that this actually comes down to everyone, who is like, sometime back, you must have seen that somebody has faced such kind of a challenge, and I am among them. I am one of them. You who never thought about, grooming himself. In fact, let me just quickly tell you that, my story has been like that. I was someone who was, in fact, from a very, very small town. And, it's Mubarakpur, which people are not even able to discover that, which part of Punjab it is. So it's like a very, very small town. But then, from there, moving on to, in fact, a bigger town, it was like almost 15, 16 years spent. First for 15, 16 years of my life went like this, and I did not even knew one word of grooming. What is even that? What exactly is grooming? But then, when actually I started moving towards the college journey, engineering journey, over there, I just kind of discovered that how people actually dress up well. Couple of people I could see that, in engineering college as well, because I was a mechanical engineer, by the way. So, didn't get a chance to, in fact, interact with many girls. And that's where you start actually realizing that, that part is missing in your life, that how can you actually groom? Because girls generally give you that feedback that, this is what you need to wear, this is what you need to look, and this is how you will kind of, dress up. So, of course, and in fact, I have a younger sister, in fact, we had an interaction recently. She also kind of was in the same boat because we were both from the same small town. She's younger just by 2 years. But slowly and steadily, Fatah, we got to know about this case, which is like progressing in the career. And then we realized that, how important it is. And how do you get to know about that? When you come across some of the people, some of the personalities who are actually very, very confident and very, very sharp. And that happened to me also. I came across one of the personality during my MBA. And I felt that, this person, if he can groom himself this way, what is that one thing, which he has gathered at the right time? So I could figure out that, he was a Delhiite. He was one, who always used to carry himself in a strong way. And that's where, this turning point came in my life. And I realized that, how important grooming is and how do I develop it as a skill. So that was just always there at the back of the mind, slowly and steadily progress there. And here I am today running Vishal School of Grooming. just fast forward, right? So that's how the journey has been, Fatah.
Okay, now you have started Vishal School of Grooming, but you were already in a good career. You were like working for the best companies, and then you were making good money there. How much were you earning? Like, what was your last package like, if you don't mind?
Yeah, so Fatah, in fact, before I tell you about that, I just wanted to highlight about this one particular factor that I have been into grooming. Starting from my, I told you a story about my MBA where I still used to be shy, introvert, and tend to be nervous whenever asked to go to a stage. But then, placements came, we started practicing, and we started working hard on ourselves. That how do we kind of, in fact, come out as a winner and get the placement. 2009, by the way, recession period, not much
Hmm.
of the companies were expected. But I can tell you a batch of 600 students, and I was the 54th guy to get placed after failing for almost 2 to 3 interviews back to back. Now,
Hmm.
just understand that 2009, you still failed for 2 to 3 organizations who came. And that was like, failing in those interviews gave me that thing that I need to work hard on myself and improve further so that I'm able to do that. When that journey begins from Philips, when I kind of moved on to Philips, this became a routine. You go to do presentations, you go to present yourself, and being into sales, Fatah, I can tell you that it was very important that you have to groom yourself and have to be presentable. But first 2 years in Philips were also not easy, very, very tough, difficult boss, tough things, tough scenario, tough environment. But then one after another, there's probably, presentations, of course, one of it, but then performance plus award is one of the awards which Philips always is being one of the prestigious awards which Philips has. I was nominated for that after being struggling for a good
Wow.
amount of time. Yeah. So when I got nominated for the over there, also same thing happened. For the first time, clearing 3 to 4 rounds, I missed in the final round. I couldn't get that.
Hmm.
But then probably that again gave me, another hard bite. I would say that I need to work on myself further and get it done. So practiced hard, understanding that how grooming works, how actually internal grooming and external grooming both work together. It's one, you see appearance, one the
Hmm.
other internal beliefs, grooming is that what is your confidence, how you are actually coming out confidently once you are dressed well. Is your self belief high? Do you have a clarity that whatever you're doing or not doing is in the right direction or not? And that was the stage when I got these things stitched and got clear in my head. I could nail that next year. And I got the number one position. There are 3 people who get this award. I was the number one who got this award. And being the youngest, by the way. Being the youngest, getting that award
Amazing.
was like a proud feeling, and once again was like a turning point for me. Over there, I realized that how important it is to groom yourself. By the way, we used to sell the products like trimmers, hair dryers, shavers, which was like related to grooming. And over there,
Right.
the TG was youngsters, youth, who always used to get hooked up on all these things. That's probably helped me understand that grooming is gonna be very, very important as and when I move forward. And I till date learn this skill because this is an important, vital 21st century skill. But I can tell you, Fatah, that till date I learned this, and I take it as like my core. That if I have to learn this while I'm teaching, a lot of mentees and a lot of people are getting, a value from it. But then I still see that I learn from them also, because when they come across with many challenges and when they put across those challenges on the table, you understand that exactly what is happening. Yeah, so that has been a journey, and that's how School of Grooming, and that's how I can tell you that after Philips, of course, we'll continue talking about it. Then Havells also happened, and there as well, so we'll discuss about that also. So I hope I answered your question.
Okay, but maybe it will help understand like how did you grow in your career? Like how did you get started? What was your package when you get got started after your MBA?
Yeah. In fact, after in fact completing the journey with Philips, this opportunity of Hevels came my way, and then this was one of the biggest opportunities for the, and from sales to marketing, by the way, developing a category from zero to almost 100 crores. And again, personal care, a brand which was known for wires and cables, actually started talking about personal care. And that opportunity was
Hmm.
big, but then of course a lot of work on myself and developing my skills especially the grooming skills, especially the personality, that how can I adore it. And then after creating this category, I could see that I was almost at a rank of general manager and making as good as 60 lakh rupees per annum.
Wow. In 12 years, somebody reaches 60 lakhs per annum, which is a dream for many people. And then what inspired you to quit such high paying job and get started with Vishal School of Grooming? What was that inspiration behind this?
Yeah, in fact, Fatah, the inspiration was, of course, that need to create something which is out of my passion.
Hmm.
And slowly and steadily, I think spending good 12 years into the career, was realizing this, that there's something at the back of my mind which always keeps running, that what exactly is some which I can always keep closer to myself and adore it, and just live with it. And then, of course, going through some great mentorships one after another, I could realize that people who actually live their passion, live with their passion, and then realize that this is something which they want to kind of go on and impart to others also. There's no great feeling other than that. And that's what happened to me. I realized that this is my passion. Grooming I've been doing, of course, it's a very important skill, but then can this be something which I can really keep closer to me all the time and make the things happen one after another into this, day in, day out? Can I think about it, dream about it, do everything around grooming? And that's where I decided to move out of corporate career and start Vishal School of Grooming.
Wow. And you also wrote this book on grooming. Wow. Okay. Do you want to talk about your book? Like, what is covered in this book and who is this for?
Yeah, so this is, of course, for all those small towners, Fatah. In fact, who people who really feel that they are, in fact, uh, you know, going for almost their 20-25 years of life they've spent, but then they realize that, what is that one aspect which is missing? When I always talk to my mentees that, Chintamani. There is a stage called Chintamani. We would like, till the time we are aware about that we remain to be into Chintamani stage. And then the time when we actually start progressing towards Sukhmani stage, it is that we realize that the main important part which is missing is grooming. And then this book, of course, because it was related to my passion, but I also realized that there are many people who still do not understand this, that how important this can be if they have to progress in their career. Yeah.
Mhm.
So keeping that in mind, and keeping, of course, this in mind, that I have to add a lot of value to people, and there cannot be a better way than writing a book. So I just picked up this and then kind of went on to complete it. But then I can tell you that this book, of course, talks about lot of beliefs which get clearly shattered. There are a lot of myths which people carry with themselves, that being a small towner, I cannot groom myself. I do not know that how to dress well. I do not know that what confidence is, and how I can actually move to the next version of myself. Because of that small belief, because of that mindset, they're not able to, in fact, move on. So I narrated it in form of a story, that first you got to get that clarity that you can do it. If I can do it, of course you can do it. And that is the
Mhm.
message which I've clearly imparted in this book, that if you think about it, groom yourself both internally as well as externally. It's just that it's here. You got to decide that I'm going to pick this book and go through it and understand. If you still feel that there are some doubts which are left, then I run a beautiful program called 21 Day Grooming Challenge, where people really come clear everything, whatever is their, whatever their myths are, and then one after another, the steps which they take and progress in their journey to kind of make sure that they're at least traveling that journey and understanding that how they can groom themselves and bring their next version out.
Wow, this is amazing. Like being an author and then sharing a lot of experience that you have about 11 to 12 years of experience. And I think I can relate here, Vishal, because when I started grooming myself well, I remember I reached one place where I joined Toastmasters Club, where they told me how important it is to groom. And then it changed the entire perspective. It changed my confidence level, right? It changed my personality altogether. So I can relate with whatever you are saying. And your book is groomed to the next version of you, right? And
Absolutely.
that's available on Amazon. That's where people can find it.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Right. Yes, of
So,
course.
guys, whoever are listening, if you want some quick value of 11 to 12 years of experience actually put in all together, and Vishal has does not only talk the talk, but he's also walked the talk, because he has got some huge success in his career, and today is already getting it to his mentees. So, if you have not yet gone for his book, here is your opportunity. Go to Amazon, find it. How to groom yourself, right? Groom to the next version of you, right? That's the
True.
book. So go ahead and find it on Amazon and get started, right? Great. So that's one part of you. And then you also, like, I remember you as you moved to Chandigarh, right? And you got a Tedx speech for that local for vocal. So how was your experience with that Tedx speech?
This was the biggest surprise, Fatah, I got when I actually came across this. And, it was like, I would say that, Chandigarh welcomed me with this. In fact, when I moved from Delhi to Chandigarh, it was like, clearly coming as a surprise to me that, we want to present you this time in that category, which is like, vocal for local category. And, they were almost finalized with all their speakers. But then when they realized that somebody who was a part of this Punjab and this culture, he moved out, progressed in his career, and then he decided to come back. And after leaving his high paying job, why would he do that? And how many people do that? That was the question which was
Mm,
asked from me. I simply answered that, this is something which is related to my passion. This is something which I really want to, in fact, do it to a lot of you. You being the youngsters at GGDSD college, you guys are always wondering that, how do you progress in your career? How do you actually move forward and create a lot of things? But then once you start realizing that this is the crucial element is to groom yourself and bring the next version out over there, the things will start dramatically changing for you. And that's what happened, and then when I just told them my story, they were like, yo, we want you to be there. And in fact, they promised me that, next time you're going to be there in the main show as well. So that's like, icing on the cake.
great. That's awesome. Congratulations for your TEDx speech again, right? And
Thank you so
you
much.
talk about two aspects in grooming. In your content, I've seen you talk about groom yourself both externally and internally. Now, what is externally? I can understand, like dressing yourself well, but what is this internally? Can you expand on both externally and internally? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a very simple concept, Fatah. And the concept is like, when you think about yourself, you feel that, there are two components which are attached to you always, and one is, of course, your internal pattern, and the other one is that, you have, of course, your external appearance. I always tell all my mentees and the people who are connected with me that, it all starts from inside out. When you think
Mm,
about it, that, you want to groom yourself, people, attach grooming as a word with always external appearance. But I wanted to bring a flip here, and I always wanted to say that, why not first internal grooming? See, grooming as a word, what does it mean? It just simply means that, you go to bring your best out. You should
right.
look and sound amazing. And when you have to look and sound amazing, so I say that it starts from inside your internal grooming, that your confidence, your self belief. And when you actually go and give your best out there, so you are all set. But now somebody asked me this question that, Vishal, if we have that thing available with us, we are inside, internal thing is absolutely ready, but then sometimes we are not ready with external appearance. Will that matter? I said it will definitely matter, because, when you dress well, you feel well. As simple as that. If you're
Right.
not kind of wearing a good dress and not having that great feeling, would you be able to go and deliver the best of the speech when you are among best of the people? No.
Mm-hmm.
That's no for me. Somebody would say, yeah, it's yes for me, but I would say it's no for me, because when I dress well, like now, I go on and start talking, my confidence is already raised by almost 10%, right? And when I
Right.
walk on the stage, that confidence is further, going up and up and up and up. And that's what starts mad kind of counting, your. So I always say internal and external both go hand in hand. It is important, and this doesn't take much, by the way. It only requires that you go to, in fact, start grooming yourself. Whether you started doing internally first or externally first, that's up to you, but then both are important.
Hmm. Hmm. And a lot of corporate professionals, Vishal, what I've seen is they are great on technology. They have great skills, right? But their growth is like not really happening, stagnant. And one thing I've seen is people say like high thinking, simple living, right? Whenever we talk about grooming and dressing themselves well. So, what do you think can be done here in this space?
See, it's quite simple and straightforward, Fatah, here that when corporates in fact start just realize that when we entered into the corporate world, in fact including you, Fatah, when you entered into the corporate world, at that moment we were always like, it's just the starting phase of it, and we do not actually rate grooming to be the most important skill. We feel that it's more important that we focus more on our work. Day
Hmm.
one we start 9 a.m or 8 a.m, whatever the office time is, and then till the end of the day, 5 p.m, 6 p.m, 7 p.m, we continue doing our work. But in between, we don't realize that when you start wearing this grooming on yourself, when you start carrying yourself and make yourself presentable, how it starts reflecting on your career. Number one, when you're sitting among a group of people, there are, let's say, about 10 people in the team, and there's an automatic choice which comes out when you see that somebody who's absolutely great and looking well, and in fact knows how confidently I can present and how confidently I can speak. And then out of those 10 people, that guy immediately is getting picked up. Why? And that 9 people who are sitting next to him or her, they feel that, this is something strange. Every time, why is he or she getting picked up and why I am left out?
Yeah.
And slowly and steadily, when we progress, when 2 years, 5 years, 7 years of our career are gone, and we see that we're not getting those promotions which are due, and then we also realize that we're not getting that money which is important to everyone, and that's the kind of a money which is required. In fact, I related it to my story, Fatah, that for first 2 years at Philips, I didn't realize this. What is that one important skill which is missing in me? And when that performance
Hmm.
plus award happened, round after round presentations happened, and when these people who actually traveled from Amsterdam to see us, that what are we doing? At that moment, if you are just missing on these small things,
Yeah.
and you start, kind of feeling that it's a pain, it's a big pain. It was a big pain for me, Fatah. I could feel that, it is always hitting me hard. How do I come out of this? And how quickly I can come out of this? And that's what my message is to everyone listening to us, that take this as a very important skill, and you will see the magic. Once you groom yourself internally and externally, you will feel the magic, you will feel that difference, you will feel that you are walking the talk, which is actually required in the corporate world. Yeah.
Hmm. And a lot of people, Vishal, one thing I have observed when working with corporate professionals, especially with mid careers, is they have low self belief and confidence, right? And they don't feel like dressing well, and they don't sometimes feel that they are not worth it, right? They can't go to the next levels. And especially today, it's being like where, as you said, Amsterdam people used to fly down. Now here, either people in the IT world, I come from the IT world with 17 plus years of experience, where I've seen a lot of on-site travels and all of that. So even during the travel and all of that, right, when people are meeting the clients, their confidence is low. And how do you think they can improve? Like when you talk about grooming, is it also about confidence building? Is it also about
Absolutely.
self-image?
Absolutely. Thanks for asking this question, Fatah. This is a very important question, and I can again relate it to one of a very small example and a story here. Which was like, when this, of course, when I moved from Philips to Hevels, of course there was like, there was a rise in my package, there was rise in my designation, everything was there. But then there was one change, a big change which happened. I moved from an MNC to an Indian organization, right? And out
Hmm.
there, I just realized that, even though they are an Indian organization, but then, and the people, the environment over there was pretty different. The culture was pretty different. Of course, it happens to be like that. Now, because we talked about, there are people from Amsterdam who come down and see that, how groomed you are and how confident you are. Now, when you move out from that environment into an environment which is an Indian culture, Indian company, and then well thought out company, in fact, growing like anything, out there are a mix of people which are like low at confidence, always sticking to their process system, doing, like you said, IT people. I came across a lot of them because we were developing an application in grooming. We were doing a lot of stuff in and around that, digital marketing and all that. Out there, I just realized that, these people, they just kind of stick to their work and they don't, in fact, consider grooming as one of the important skills. And then that all boiled down to one thing, that, why don't they consider it? Why don't they consider it, Fatah? They were not considering it because they were feeling that it's not required. Confidence doesn't matter because we have to just sit on the computer, do our work, start it in the morning, end it in the evening, go back, and we are all done. But
Hmm.
let me ask you that question: when that review happens, when that presentation happens, when you have to even answer to your boss, do you wear that confidence, or you lack that confidence? That's what starts making a difference. If you have that confidence, if you have that presentation skills with you, and if you are actually improving every day and learning something new every day in terms of grooming yourself, you are actually inching towards a very, very progressive career, and you're going to make a mark. You're going to be your boss one day. You're going to be one day a CEO, CTO, whatever your wish list is, whatever your dream is. And it's all doable and possible. And I'll once again say that, Father, that if I can do it, being a small towner, in fact, a lot of people, they can do it.
I'm sure like people who are watching this will be inspired by you because when people see somebody else getting that success, reaching that level, right? It starts, they start believing that, yes, this can also happen to me. So thank you, Vishal, for inspiring with your, the way you have come to the level wherever you are today. And how can grooming help in like interviews? Like, do you have any etiquettes that people can follow, or anything that they can follow where it can help them? Like, interviews is one big thing for the corporate professionals, right? And many people, especially I remember I failing in multiple interviews initially, and then it took me quite some time to get into the IT world. So do you have any tips or any etiquettes that people can follow during interviews?
Yeah. So in fact, Fatah, this has been my story also. This has been my case also. I failed into multiple interviews, and I mentioned that, when I was about to enter my placements at Philips, my placements at Amity, 2009 recession period, and we all knew that, we're gonna get limited opportunities. Let's say one or two, max three, because
Hmm.
being into a medium college, Amity, that, is kind of a medium college, not an E grade college, not a C grade college. It's a B grade college, I would say. Limited opportunity is going to come to you. 2009 being a recession period, you started preparing well, you started practicing also, but then, you know the difference which comes into the picture over here is people who have been grown and brought up into that environment where there's a natural confidence being there. Of course, your upbringing, of course, matters. It's not that, upbringing doesn't matter. So upbringing over there, to these people who were like Delhiites and they were pretty confident on their work. But what can make a difference here, that, Vishal Manucha, who comes from a small town, and a guy who is from Delhi, they both are competing for the same company. What can be a difference? So the difference was only one, that, it was my belief that I can make it. I can crack it if I practice it, if I kind of keep doing it. And this one point when got clicked into my head, I still felt that, I'm practicing, I'm doing everything, but I'm still not able to crack two of the interviews, and I cracked the third one, which was Philips. But then the biggest difference was that, you got to practice hard. You got to bring lot of things which can actually, be very different. So, and then this, what should you practice actually? I want to talk about that because you asked about those pointers when you're going for an interview. What should you practice? You should, number one, practice your story. What are you? Who are you? In fact, this question comes normally. Everyone knows that in interview, the first question which is going to be asked is that, can you tell us something about yourself? And people think
Right.
that this question is about their experience, what they have been doing, how have been their life. But the question exactly is, who do you think you are?
Hmm.
Can you actually explain that who do you think who you are? That's where the difference starts coming up. And then number two, the next question is, of course, you go to narrate it in a way that you become someone who is controlling the interview, not the interviewer. The way you answer, the way you narrate your story, the question is getting picked up from there. And you go,
Right.
if you practiced well and if you know that what is your story and the way you're explaining, you are be on top of that. So that's the number two thing, just be strong at your story. And I always say that story is like situation, action, and result. What has been your situation? What actions do you take? What are your results? Right? So if you talk about these things, the interview will be revolving it around that. And by the way, first 15 minutes, the interviewer has already taken a call that whether you're going to make it or not. If first 15 minutes
Mm.
have been good for you, you have been able to narrate your story well, and you've been able to control the interview the way you wanted to, you're done. Otherwise, rest of the 30 minutes or 45 minutes, whatever it goes on for, the interviewer is actually making himself or herself believe that whether I've made a right choice or not. If you do not commit a mistake in the next 30 minutes, you're gonna be for sure there. That's the final tip
Mm.
from my side on interview and interview cracking.
Great. And like somebody who fails the interviews, right? Somebody who goes through the rejection, usually multiple rejections, people start giving up, people start believing in them, stop believing in themselves, right? So, how to handle these rejections if people go through rejections, especially in the interviews?
Yeah, I think rejections simply make you more strong. I had faced multiple rejections, multiple rejections. I can tell you that, in fact, if not more, 7 to 8, I can recall on my tips 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, back to back, one after another. But then, every rejection made me strong because I could just come back and realize that, where did the thing go wrong? What was that mistake which I committed? And if you are not realizing and not making a correction in those mistakes and you're not practicing that, then it's really becoming difficult for you. Either you do it yourself, or probably I have always told that, that have a mentor in your life. Have somebody like,
Mm.
Fatah Khan. Have somebody like, who is actually going to tell you and guide you on all these things step by step. The people who have actually failed and just realized that this is what the pain point is and this is what used to stop me from going ahead, those are the people you should look up to. Those are the people who can guide you to move forward and create an environment which is actually conducive for themselves, and then start relating to your journey, and you would feel that you're slowly and steadily progressing in it. And hence I hope that this answers Fatah the question that understand self correction being very very important. Either you are able to do that self correction perfectly, all right, or take a help of a mentor. A mentor can actually tell you that how it works, and mentor can actually show you the path and the way on which you need to walk. If you're able to walk, if you're able to implement those things, your journey is going to be pretty easy and pretty straightforward. It's just, of course, that you got to implement whatever they say. You got to give your blood, sweat, and tears to your mentor. Whatever he says, he or she says, you're going to take that and do it, implement it with full confidence and full belief. It'll be yours. Nobody can take it from you.
Completely agree with all the tips, and especially the one that you spoke about mentor. Because for me, one of the biggest pain, Vishal, was failing in multiple interviews, and it took me 8 long years to reach my dream company, Cisco. Right? And I can clearly see that if I would have had a mentor in life, that journey would have fast tracked. Because after joining Cisco, I realized it was not so hard that I was like seeing it as it was, right? And I was missing some basic principles there. So I think it's very very important to have a mentor who can fast track your journey, who has walked the path and show you that path. Right? Now coming back to grooming, you talk about something called as revolutionary grooming cycle. Can you talk more about this on this show? Like, what is it?
So, revolutionary grooming cycle is something which is like, a framework for your journey. Let's say, even if in fact, let's say that, we start traveling this grooming cycle. And how do we travel from in this grooming cycle? First, step one, where I was, I was like shy. I was like an introvert. I was I was like that, whenever asked to move on to the stage, I would be the first person who would walk away from that space and hide somewhere, right?
Hmm.
That's the space from where this revolutionary grooming cycle starts. And and after that, either you are able to discover yourself that you have that kind of a personality, or maybe you go through some tests, or you hire someone in your life who tells you that this is what is lacking, this is what is actually stopping you from moving to the next version. Now, from this step, you move on to the next step, which is like you hired somebody like a coach or a mentor or somebody who is already guiding you, your buddy, let's say your buddy. Now, this buddy actually taught you all the fundamentals and made you understand that you're going to work on these things. These are your weaknesses. And here, from this step, you move on to the next step, which is that you start becoming someone who is getting to a stage two. Little bit of confidence is going up, little bit of hesitance is going on. Hesitant is getting over, hesitation is good, getting over. And then your personality is, in fact, improving a little. You just started moving a little on the curve because you got the mentor, you got the mindset that I need to learn, I need to improve myself. Now, when you started here, out here, you start developing certain habits and routines, which actually start helping you become a better personality. That, for example, you say, I want to be fit. I lack fitness right now. I need to reduce my weight. By the way, I went on from 85 to 70 kgs when I realized that this is very, very important. If I have to look good, I have to be fit, both mind and body, right? Now, habits and routines, when I improved these things, I felt that my mentor is actually helping me improve here. Habits and routines worked upon, started moving forward. Further, the curve went little above because I felt that with habits and routines with better fitness, I'm actually on to the level 3 now. So level 1, you're shy, introvert. Level 2, you actually started developing some bit of confidence. Level 3, you developed some great habits and routines. You're getting up early in the morning, sleeping on time, eating right food, and exercising, right? Now, out here, you believe that you are knowing everything, and now you're done. You don't need anybody else. Now you will manage yourself. You know every fundamental. You leave your mentor here and you say, now no more, I will do it myself. This is the
Hmm.
point where your energy, in fact, maybe in my grooming cycle, in my case, it dropped. I
Hmm.
went
Hmm.
back to the same scenario where I started missing on my habits, on my routines, and became again a guy who was like 9 to 5, just doing my work day in, day out, without considering that what do I need to do for my self development. And that realization once again made me feel that how important it is to have someone in your life who can tell you, who can be your accountability partner also, who kind of asks you that question every day, that if I am doing it, I am practicing it, and I am feeling that change in myself, are you doing it? Are you making that change in yourself? Are you developing those habits and routines every day? And that's from where again I picked back and moved forward. And that was a breakthrough for me, Fatah, where I felt that now this is a breakthrough. Now this is where I need to in fact move on to the upper curve. Now then after that, till that time, this is like the curve is going up, up, and up. I never looked back after that. And that's what the cycle is, and people say that there's like you always progress, and suddenly you feel that you're suddenly going down. Maximum amount of times this needs to be arrested, and your breakthroughs are going to come to you one after another if you arrest that period with the right intent, with the right process. And that's where from self-doubt, shy personality, to a little bit of confidence, to let's say habits, a great habits and routines, having, and then going down and then coming back with a lot of clarity and lot of things which you are kind of saying that there were a lot of failures. Now I came across all of them, and you became someone who is an exemplary guy, who is an exemplary girl, and who says that I am a power pack performer now. Now I know that what is going to work for me, what are my strengths and weaknesses. By the way, power pack performer doesn't mean that you do not have weaknesses. There is nobody who is a perfectionist.
Right.
You're going to continuously learn and improve. That's what the grooming cycle is all about.
Wow. And here you covered about mindset also, Vishal. So, how important do you think mindset is for any corporate professional to grow in their career, or even to get confidence in their life or career?
Sorry for that. I just missed it in the last couple of seconds. Can you please
Yeah,
go tell me once again what is the question?
mindset, right? In the grooming cycle, you were speaking about mindset. You spoke about
I think
mindset.
there's
So,
a bit
how
of
important,
lag.
yeah, how important is mindset for somebody to grow in their career, also to build their confidence in life?
I think it all starts from mindset. It all starts from mindset. I can tell you that, now, I've been quoting my example now number of times. Let me quote an example of my mentee right now. Someone, who was like, again, somebody who is into a pharmaceutical sector. He's one of the guys, Jatin. He really started working hard on himself number of times, but then, after some time he felt that, that this is not something for me. I don't want to groom myself. It's like not important as of now. And I mean, he kind of went on to a stage where he started feeling that, he's feeling that pressure that, inside the organization he's not getting the ranks which he should be getting. Depending upon his capability, he's definitely much more capable than what he was doing, and the potential was huge. And this is what I learned from my mentor also, that your potential actually is your performance is equal to your potential, your highest potential what you have, minus all the interferences. Now, what exactly is this? What is your potential? And you know that your potential is huge, but then your mindset is not allowing you to reach to that highest potential. And when you realize that,
Hmm.
this mindset needs to be clarified, and you need to have some great habits and routines, and you need to practice things which are good for you, and you got to be regularly consistent with that. And your mindset has to be like properly tuned to it, and your self belief in sync with the mindset you have developed is going to help you grow further, one step, two steps, three steps, and four steps. And that's what worked for Jatin. When he realized this, that his mindset is actually stopping him from getting closer to his potential, his highest potential. And when he got that click, that this is my mindset, I need to just make sure that my mindset is proper. And I always have a positive attitude towards things, rather than just going back and cribbing about things whatever has happened in the past. I will not let them mount on my head, and will say that, now I'm going to go positive with great confidence and have an amazing leader mindset, I would say. The things started working for him, and today he just got awarded with 2.5 lakh rupees, because that, he developed that kind of a mindset, that kind of a personality, and it has helped him further gain lot of confidence. His team is saying that, there's something which is a change in you, a massive change in you, Jatin. We see, why? Because we feel that, you have actually developed a great mindset first. Rest, everything comes later.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. The kind of results that you are getting for your mentees through mindset, which you call it as internal part of the grooming, right? And how can somebody build confidence, and how can somebody become super confident? Um, do you have any model, any strategies, any tips for these people?
Yeah. So confidence, of course, is one of the terms, which can be always thought of, that people sometimes relate to it in a way that, if we are a very good speaker in English, if we are
Hmm.
very very good at communication skills, if we are very very sharp in our dressing, and that's where, we kind of are at the peak of our confidence. But I always tell this thing to mentees, and in fact, everybody listening here. So there is a formula for self confidence which I adopted in my life, and now my mentees are implementing it. And this formula is very simple. And this formula says you have right mindset plus the right skill sets, and then you go to take actions every day. And what
Hmm.
kind of actions? What kind of actions, by the way? So the actions are, number one, are you practicing yourself? Are you practicing your story? Are you standing in front of a mirror and doing it every day? Are you actually talking to yourself? Are you actually self correcting yourself? Are you actually asking yourself a question, that what is that one thing which I have learned today and implemented, by the way? See, learning is one thing and implementation is the second thing. And when this gets amalgamated, and then you start taking actions one after another, one after another, you will see a change in yourself. Your improvement will be self reflected, and you will be able to find out that, this journey is looking a very different journey. So for me, the self confidence formula has been this, that I always try to have the right positive mindset. and then adopted and started learning the right skill sets like presentation skills, like grooming myself, like after that, going into certain environments, which were not conducive for me, talking to strangers, doing all these
Hmm.
things, helped me gain certain great skill sets. Like Pata, you mentioned about Toastmasters. This is something which is a great thing, which is like has helped many people. And I started joining such kind of, there's a community, there are many communities right now, which is like talking about these things, that how you can actually become really good at that. And then lastly, every day I make sure that I adopt one significant action as an approach. And what is that one significant action approach? We put a list around us that these are the 20 things I'm going to do in a day. And then we do not realize that, we have done 3 4 things, and the main thing which was there, which was like the most important task of the day, got missed. Right? You know why? Because
Hmm.
we never circled it in the morning saying that this is the one significant action. If I break this down, there are 4 5 more which are going to go down. And let's say, when I started writing my book, Fatah, I always felt that, this is the most important thing. I left all other things aside and started working on this alone to make sure that I deliver a best piece. And
Hmm.
similarly, one significant action in your work, one significant action in your relationship, one significant action in your self, relationship, and then your work. So when I talk about self, when I get up in the morning, I start meditating. Let's say I do exercise. That's for me, for myself, or maybe reading. That's one significant action in first phase of the day, which it starts. Then I get into progress into the second phase. Over there I start working. Let's say over there, when I mentioned about that, the one significant action was that I wanted to finish my book and wanted to bring out the best piece, so I started focusing on that particularly. And then the last thing is that your relationship, at the end of the day, for whom you are doing it, either for your family, or maybe for your, beautiful kids, or maybe for your beautiful wife, or maybe for beautiful, parents. So you're doing for the relationships. And then of course some of the relationships are like for your mentees. That's also family now for you. When they come into you, when they come and become a part of you, they become your family for them. So your one action on these three parameters, self, relationship, and work, when you make sure that you're doing it repeatedly every day, your confidence is getting raised one after another, one after another. And you get that feeling at the end of the day. When you actually write down that, what did I do today? And you see that you've done into every facet of your life something crazy, something great, and that's where you feel that, your confidence is actually going up, and up.
Great. And again, coming to confidence, the one other thing with the corporate professionals is a lot of people shy away from sharing their knowledge, content on social media because they are not confident there, right? So, how do you recommend? Because they have to show up on the camera, right? And they need to be groomed well, they need to be looking well, they need to wear that confidence in terms of courage, confidence. All of this is important. So, first of all, how important do you think is social media? All right. And which platform do you recommend? And how can people improve their confidence levels? And what are the small steps that they can take to actually be on social media, be visible, and all of that as well?
First of all, again, do not consider social media as something which is just for consuming.
Hmm.
We treat social media, I used to treat social media, by the way, like that. I just need to go to Instagram and check few things and I'm done. Believe you me, first you got to have that mindset saying that, once you make a content, one, I would say, even a shitty piece of content, if you put it there, and when even you get one compliment out there from someone. See, social media is all about that. You kind of look up to people, that what kind of things are coming to you. Do not worry about that one hater which is going to write wrong about you, or let's say 10 haters which are going to write, because this is the fear we have in our mind when we post in social media. We feel that,
Right.
what did I make, what did I have created? I myself feel that, this is not the right piece. And same was the case with me. I created a lot of shitty pieces before I started creating some good pieces. But then the haters are always going to be there. They're going to create some fear, some situation, and they're gonna give you that this is not gonna work for you. But look up to that one compliment which is gonna come from that one right person who is looking up to you and wanting to learn from you. And we all know that there is no bigger medium right now available in this on this planet Earth which can say that there's a bigger way of actually developing your personality and talking to so many people in one go. Maybe you're not
Hmm.
getting the comments, maybe you're not getting the compliments, but then imagine that how many people are actually gonna just look at that and learn from this. So one, I would say, do not worry about that there's social media and you will not go and post a content, take an action, put a content every day, possibly every day. That's what the habit we guys have adopted now, me and my mentees. We all do make sure that we kind of go on and put a comment, compliment, or maybe just also create something out of it. And then that's where this thing starts moving on. Number one, so because Fatah, you asked about some tips also. So the first tip, of course, I gave clearly that you gonna create something, be it what kind of a piece it is, doesn't matter, put it on social media. And the second thing is that try and work on videos. Now, in the previous times, we used to stand in front of mirror and practice, but now we have a beautiful piece in our hand, which is a mobile phone. What we need to do is just hold that mobile phone, switch on the camera, the front camera, and shoot yourself. And whatever it is coming up, go and put it on social media and feel proud about it. Do not look for others majorly. Look for first that you have taken an action, and that piece when it goes
Yeah.
on social media, you have that feeling that you're gonna get great. So number two is that go on and create some beautiful videos and put it there. Number three, last but not the least, treat social media as your own home. Now this is free of cost, guys. You're not gonna pay anything for it. You can go on and post as many things you want, and then you just feel that your confidence. And because Fatah, this is again linked to confidence. When you put these things regularly on social media, and the kind of feedback you start getting from the people, from your well wishers as well as from your haters, you start by default improving your personality. By
Hmm.
default you start grooming yourself. By default you start raising your bar. By default your next version starts coming out.
Great, great. And when it comes to social media, again, I have one more question here, Vishal. I see people, especially the corporate professionals, right? Either they are like not having better profile pics or banners or whatever, or when they have any photos, images, all of that are so unprofessional, so very casual ones. Do you think this also impacts in their career, the way they look on social media or their profiles and banners look as well?
A lot. Because in the last question I missed on that, Fatah. You in fact asked that which is the platform you would recommend where
Hmm.
people can actually start making a mark here. Because now this question is absolutely linked to that, and it actually requires a bit of effort, I would say here. Because you know that before your CV goes to a person, you getting shortlisted on LinkedIn these days. And
Perfect. Right.
there
Yeah.
is a clear prediction, and there is a clear prediction, Fatah, and you would agree to that, that soon LinkedIn would replace Naukri.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if that happens, and over there you do not have a great picture, you do not have a great banner, you do not have a great description about your entire journey, your story, in fact, I would say, you're gonna miss on the chance. You're gonna miss on that beautiful chance, which I would say 2009 we used to miss, because we were
Hmm.
never aware, we never knew that LinkedIn is gonna be so powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. I think many people underestimate or undervalue LinkedIn, especially the corporate professionals, which is sad to see. But I think, as you rightly said, today more than 90% of the decisions that are happening through the recruiters is through LinkedIn, right? And if your profiles are
Yes.
not up to date, if you are not showing up properly there, then you miss those opportunities in your career and life, right? And coming again in terms of the confidence and all of that, how important is networking, Vishal? And how like networking can help the corporate professionals, and how can they network well as well?
Right, right, right. In fact, this I would clearly say that, Fatah, that this is something which is one important thing I am learning right now. Because
Hmm.
somebody said that you earlier that you are a grooming coach. You do not consider this as an important thing. But then when I realized this, that networking is something, without which none of the businesses can work in a proper way, because the kind of a information you start getting from everywhere, when you have great pool of people with you, the networking begins from that stage. And we call, in fact, LinkedIn also as a networking platform, right?
Right.
And over there, when you kind of feel that, the people, the kind of a value which they are adding, it is started working for them in a great way. And in fact, the communities, which have been created on Facebook as well as LinkedIn, the groups which are like giving you a lot of knowledge these days, and where you can exchange your views, and then of course you can come across people and talk to each other. And now, of course, Clubhouse,
Hmm.
beautiful platform, beautiful way of connecting with people without even a video. You can go on and simply listen first, carefully listen more, I would always say, when you are new and joining there, and then when you are ready, get into that and start sharing your thoughts. And the kind of a value you get from it, the kind of a network you build out of it, there is nothing which is better than that at this moment. So LinkedIn, Facebook, Clubhouse are the platforms where you can actually build your network. And it is the most important thing, because I talked about it, I am myself working literally on this particular thing, that networking, if you can build it up, if you can have strong pool of people with you, and you can actually network with some great people, you're gonna just speed up your journey, I would say. And being
Right.
of course a mid-career professional, being into corporate career for almost, let's say, 5 years, 10 years, you go to feel that the number of opportunities you have started getting because of your networking are way too higher than what you were getting without having a great network. So one,
Agree.
social media, second, network. Get them together, start going to them, start developing content, and bring a beautiful piece out of it. And you would feel that your journey has started actually doubling. In fact, 2x, 3x, 4x, you will feel the speed is going up. And hence, Fadar, thank you for asking this question. This is very important for everyone. And I would say, keep it closer to you.
Yeah. And when it comes to leaders, Vishal, like in IT, especially since I've been there, I've observed the leaders around, right? A lot of people, again, when it comes to grooming, I've seen like they don't even like use blazers, suits, right? They try to be in very casual form. And even when it comes to clients, right, sometimes they are so underconfident, because of which they lose a lot of deals, clients and all of that. So how important do you think grooming and confidence is for them? And like, do you have any simple tips for these people at the leadership level?
Absolutely. Yeah, those are three starting steps. Three starting steps which is gonna work for you beautifully. The first is that get your suit, or maybe for girls I always say that a nice skirt, and probably a nice matching blazer with that. Probably that combination is the easiest thing. Go to a good place, spend some money on it. Do not hesitate to spend money here. Get yourself feel good about it, that you got a great piece. Now you're gonna wear this in your next big moment, which could be an interview, which could be a boardroom meeting, and which could be your team development meeting, where you have already kind of started traveling that journey. And of course, Fatah asked about this, a leader actually starts making a difference from there, when he or she stands out in that crowd and says that this is my power, and this is my power
Hmm.
pose. If, let's say, you're wearing a lousy t-shirt and you're not wearing great clothes, and you then go and start to fill up the room as a leader, will you be able to even assume in your mind first that you have that power pose, which is going to give a lot of value to your team members? So that's the first easy thing. Go to a great showroom, go to a probably a Raymond's showroom, where you can get yourself a proper nice dress stitched. That's gonna raise your confidence. by at least 10%, 15%, if not more. Number two, a quick one, start putting yourself into every possible challenging situation. Do not shy away from any meetings, any presentation. If your boss asks you and gives you an opportunity, be the first one to raise your hand and say that, yes, boss, I am ready this time. I will deliver on the stage given an opportunity. Do not shy away from that. The more you do this, the more you practice this, better you will feel about it. Nothing is going to go wrong. Take my words. Nothing is going to go wrong. You're not going to lose your life.
Hmm.
You're gonna feel just good about it. That's the only thing started working for me beautifully. Number three, last but not the least, keep this in mind. First, you have to look up to yourself. Have that self belief in you that, I am the one who can make or break the situation. I am an awesome person. I am the one who can actually create an aura in the room. I am the one who
Right.
can make people smile and cry both. It's up to me. When you have that self belief and when you go with that mindset, I can tell you nobody can stop you from becoming your next version. And that's truly for all my leaders who are looking for their next version.
Wow, this is amazing. And I think we had some good conversation here where you not only covered the external grooming about how do you dress well, your body language, and all of that. You also covered the internal grooming, importantly, like the mindset and the confidence, the communication, all of that. So, thank you, Vishal, for being here and covering some of the important aspects. And I'm sure the corporate professionals, especially who are watching this or who will be watching this later as a recording, it will benefit them hugely, because this is something, as you have always said, which has worked for you. If you can go to that next level or the best version of yourself by grooming yourself and building that confidence, now everybody can do it if they are able to follow the process and get started. Right. So thank you for this. And before we conclude, do you have any last piece of advice to our audience or suggestion that you have that people can take away from this session today?
Yeah. So I think in fact, just to, in fact, summarize this entire talk, Fatah, first of all, to thank you a lot for bringing this topic and, making so many people aware about this, that, how important it becomes. One, of course, you see on the panel with Fatah Khan, there's a dream career. You're looking for a dream career. And hence, this beautiful piece from Fatah Khan, I personally have read it and I felt really great about it. I can just recommend this book for everyone. Go on and read it. And when you pick up this dream career and then you feel that, parallelly, what is that one thing which can make a difference is that groom yourself. Just believe
As
that, you can groom yourself. When you just club them together, a dream career and grooming, you are unstoppable. You are unstoppable.
Very well said, and I think it's an integral part of it, because for me, definitely, Vishal, this has helped a lot. Grooming, right? Grooming myself to become the next best version of me, and also the same things I help people. So I think it's important to build your dream career, that you groom yourself, you become confident, you have a great mindset, become great communicator, and build that leadership skills and groom yourself internally and externally, so that you can go out, unlock yourself, and win the world and build your dream careers. So, thank you, Vishal,
Absolutely.
again for being here and adding a lot of value to the audience. I'm sure people have loved it. And people who have watched us or going to watch us later during the recording, thanks a lot. And I think there are a lot of people who watched and then who were also appreciating Vishal on this one. Dinesh, Ashish Kumar, Saraji, Ram Gurung. Thank you, everyone, and all others who have been watching or watched us and have been appreciating these efforts. And people, stay tuned, because we are going to bring more industry leaders, more people who are going to talk from their experience and expertise and share their success stories, so that it can help you to become successful and build your dream careers. Thank you, everybody, and have a great night. Thanks again, Vishal. Good night.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.